Hey, welcome back to Too Long Didn't Care. I'm your host, Coy Mack, and today we're going to be talking about the Keystone Pipeline. Hey, welcome back. It's been a while since we've done any of the Too Long Didn't Care. We also didn't do an episode last week, or the week before that, I think, for the Hooch. But I'm going to start trying to do more of these videos during the week so we can kind of get involved in the process, since we have a new president-in-chief, Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, Creepy Joe, whatever you would like to call him. He is our friendly neighborhood normal Joe who spends $7,000 on a fucking Rolex, because that's how normal he is. He just spends money on a Rolex. Speaking of not spending money, though, the thing that he did do was cancel the Keystone Pipeline, because we're fighting climate change by getting rid of that nasty oil. Problem is, that's actually one of the cleanest ways to transport oil as of right now. And most of the markets in the entire world run on oil. I mean, we invaded a bunch of countries because of oil, and he just wants to go from American independence on energy to being dependent on foreign oil again. So then we got to bomb Syria and kill a bunch of kids, because that's what we do as the United States. We need oil, so we just take it from everywhere else instead of using it on our own backyard, because why would we ever do that? I have no idea. Why would we use our own oil to make gas? Brilliant. For those of you who don't know, the Keystone Pipeline is a pipeline that runs from Alberta, Canada, down to Texas, to Houston, where some of the refineries are. And it would save a ton on transportation costs and also reduce emissions from those transportation costs, because you're not running a bunch of diesel engines to take a bunch of oil to make more of it. It's a lot easier. It's a lot safer. It's better, especially you're not shipping it through the ocean in case some idiot rams into it and all the oil just goes out, right? So he decides it's not a good idea. We're not going to do the Keystone Pipeline anymore because I'm going to pander to the climate activists. Problem is, you also pissed off one of our neighbors, because Canada had a stake in this, because I think it was a Canada company that is running the Keystone down to here. So it affects them too. It doesn't just affect the United States, it affects Canada as well. And all those jobs that Canada needed, as well as everybody else that needs it here in the United States, because we're in the middle of a pandemic and there are like a crap ton of people unemployed, but God forbid you work for your money at the oil fields, because you can't do that anymore. No, because we've gotten rid of that. We're putting a moratorium on leases and permits in federal land and water, because the Keystone Pipeline wasn't enough to kill your job. We got to make sure we kill it for everybody in the energy sector. So, sorry, Roughnecks. No more drilling for you. All that money wasted, all that time and energy put into your companies. No, we're done with that. We're not doing that anymore, because he's going to halt it and then not replace it with anything else, because God forbid we do any of that stuff. Like, I don't understand, in all likelihood, why anybody in the right mind would do this. Honestly, like, if you really think about it, why would we get rid of thousands of jobs in a time when we're actually having to put together stimulus packages for people? That's a big issue. But not only that, is that we are also affecting other communities as well. Besides Canada, you have New Mexico is now going to be a wasteland, because most of their income from New Mexico is done by the oil and gas industry. Like, you're literally gutting and taking out from underneath thousands of people, their jobs, their livelihoods, and everything that they depend on, in a time where they don't have the leeway to find another job. Right? We're just taking all of these jobs and saying, you know what? I'm sorry you have a family, but too bad. Oil bad. That's what they're saying to you. They want you to go out and get another job. Just go learn to code. Don't get banned. You'll get banned if you say that on certain platforms. But the point is, it's not just affecting them. It's also affecting the Native American population as well. Native tribes torch Biden over this as well, because their economy on their native lands and their nation depends on this oil revenue for their schools and their children and to feed their families and to keep their livelihood going. So you're just axing things for other natives and then hurting another population of natives for your benefit, for your climate benefit, right? For climate change. But the problem is that climate change is one of those things that are very complex in nature. And they always want to go after oil and gas. Oil and gas is the biggest thing that they will always tell you is the biggest contributor to the climate, right? But it's not. It really isn't. There are tons of other things that I factor into this, like desertification, right? Factory farming. These things should be addressed as well, but we're not addressing any of those things because cornfields and soy plants, the factory ones, are destroying lands, right? So throughout most of the year, they plant them, they use them hardcore, and then they leave them barren. And that causes desertification, right? They want to blame the cows, but the cows aren't the problem because you need poop in order to make fertilizer for the grass and plants that you need. So like cows aren't a problem. Factory farming is a problem. That's why we need more holistic management of farmlands. But doing this at a time when people don't have the leeway to find other jobs, we don't even have anything to replace any of these in green energy in the first place, you're just saying, well, too bad, so luck. I kept my campaign promise, and now we're done. I don't get it. I really don't. This is something that is not fair to the American people. It doesn't help them one bit. And that's a problem. It is a real big problem. And this is going to be the kind of thing we're going to have to look forward to in the Biden presidency. Anyway, it's been too long, didn't care. Hope you have an understanding of how important the Keystone Pipeline is. And do your research, look it up yourself if you don't believe me. It's a better way of transporting gas, especially in a time when we don't have green energy alternatives that are viable. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time.
According to your Facebook page, we aren't friends.